Hello, class. Today I'm going to be talking about Time of the Butterflies, which is the book I read. And yes, if you were wondering, I saved this portion of the project for the last night that I could do it. So, to begin, I'm going to talk about text-to-text connections that I found while reading In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. First, In the Time of the Butterflies, I noticed connections to the book The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. The first connection I saw is between the tyranny and the oppression that General Rafael Trujillo ruled with during his reign from 1931 to 1960 in the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic was constantly under his oppression due to his mass executions of people that opposed his rule. His dictatorship was that evil, is similar in evilness, if that's a word, to Hitler's when he was ruling during World War II in Germany. The connection that I made to Invisible Man is how the entity of white power and white supremacy over the black people within that book, I connected that to the oppression that the people of the Dominican Republic feel because they feel like they don't have a voice in their society, just like the main character or the narrator in The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man is basically a book about how one black man in the 1960s tries to find his voice and kind of gets an in with the white people and tries to become an established member of the society. And overall, he ends up failing like the Mirabal sisters do in the Time of the Butterflies. In the Time of the Butterflies, the Mirabal sisters are assassinated, and they don't end up fulfilling their dream to get Rafael Trujillo out of power. And in The Invisible Man, the narrator, who is also the main character, his name is never given in the book, he ends up going insane because he figures out that he can never have a voice in his society. So he goes into hibernation at the end of the book. The next portion is going to be about text-to-world connections. And the connection that I saw that came pretty easy to me is ISIS in Iraq and Trujillo in the Dominican Republic. Both of these people or entities or organizations, what have you, perform mass executions on people, would kidnap women and rape them, would also just rule with tyranny throughout their entire stint as ruler, and ISIS is still at large. But most of all, they would stop at nothing to strike fear into the eyes of the people in order to rule and rule effectively. And right now, the United States is in the process of staging an uprising against them, and we are in Iraq working to get them out, to get their rule shut down. And lastly, my text-to-self connection will be that within the novel In the Time of the Butterflies, many of the Dominican Republicans cannot have a voice in their society because they feel kind of pressured to not uprise against the rule of Trujillo, because if they do, they will be either put into exile, they will be murdered, they'll be mass executed, or they'll just be kidnapped and or raped. So I connected that to my life in my encounters with my peers and in social aspects of my life. Sometimes I feel as though I don't have a voice because I don't want to be that kid that is kind of going against the current and having a different outlook on things or a different kind of viewpoint on certain aspects of life. Sometimes, I will step out of the box and maybe give my opinion, but most of the time I feel as though I don't have a voice, much like many of the Dominican Republicans in the time of the butterflies. But for the most part, um, the loyalists that follow Trujillo just have fear struck into their eyes because of all the mass executions and just the brutality of his rule. So I connected that to myself because I feel as though I don't have a voice in certain aspects of my life.